Hey everybody, it's Kate. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry it's been a while since I've done a video. Um, I don't know, I just haven't been feeling it and I need to figure out a way to not feel it and still make videos. Anyway, what I wanted to do today is show you all of the mandalas that I drew for the month of March. I drew 1, 2, or 3 mandalas. I really ended up liking the ones the best, so that's what I'm doing for April. I'm doing one a day on a card this size. Anyway, the cards are 4x6. Sometime in the middle of the month, I decided they needed rounded corners, and so they have rounded corners now. So this has definitely become one of my favorite motifs, this thing around the edge. I just love how much dimension it creates. And then, of course, I love dots. So that's March 1st. And then on March 2nd, I just did 2 mandalas. I didn't try to make them look similar or different. The one thing I did was these centers that have a similar feel, but one is teardrops and one is circles. That's about all I made fit. And as you can see, again, these 3 completely different, no similarities between them, though there is a pretty significant similarity between these 2. I just went with 3. And again, I use that pattern because I love it. On this one, again, no attempt to make them look similar. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because you'll see as I go along that I start experimenting with patterns and similarities and line width and stuff. So it gets fun. I love this center portion here. It looks like an explosion to me. And I also I call this pattern Argyle. This is a lot of fun, very intricate. I had a lot of fun with these dots in the middle and then starting to alternate dots and circles. And I like how it looks like it just goes down into the abyss. I'm discovering that I really like patterns that move outward. And so this pattern moves outward. So does this one. This one was pretty simple. I must have had a busy day at work. Sometimes I do like to connect things, but in this case, I left just a tiny bit of space, and I like the feeling that it gives. It almost, to me, it makes it seem more like it goes behind, even though it's not connected. I don't know why. Maybe someone who knows about art could explain that to me. And in this case, I tried to make the dots in the center different sizes so that they maybe looked like they were closer or further away. Probably needed a little bit more variation to make that stand out. Now this is where I started really experimenting with similarity and difference. So as you can see in the center I used lines. Here I intersected them, here I didn't. Then I have dots and circles alternating in different ways, and then I have lines and then dots around the edge, and I just did everything slightly differently and it comes out with a completely different feeling. This one I just did 3 completely different things. Had fun with it, but no similarities. I do really like this center, but I really love cross action. I think it's beautiful. I think it's fun to do. I really like how even when I'm imprecise, it looks really complicated. It's not. It's just lines. Okay, and here I have the center and the outside are the same, and then again, the center and the outside are the same, and then I use the same thing in middle row. So as you can see, I used exactly the same element. Putting them in different areas gave a completely different feel. This is one of my favorites. Here I just had some fun with dots. And with these single ones, as you can see, the original design was just this size, but I really had a lot of fun thinking of patterns to expand the circle. Like I did here. This is a very simple one. I have my cross hatching in the center, some dots and circles, some lines. Really, really simple, but I just love the effect. And again, the expansion out from the center. here I played with line width and filling in, because as you can see I used circles here and I filled in the circles here. Over here I didn't have any solid lines except for this one right here. They're all dashed and dotted. Here they're all solid and somewhat bold. I really prefer this one, but most people I asked said they preferred this one, which I found really interesting. So if you want to tell me in the comments which one you prefer, which one you're drawn to, there's no right answer, just let me know. Here again, I used similar patterns and just buried them the tiniest bit. Like here I have big dots and little dots. Here they're all the same size. Here it's a very precise pattern, and then I used my string art pattern that I like to use, and then all of them have dots around the outside edge. I decided to move from the outside to the inside and then inside to outside. So we have cross hatching, and then we have dots, and then we have cross X's, and then we have thick lines and thin lines. I love how the cross hatching looked on the outside of this circle. Okay, this is one of my favorites, and apparently if Instagram is any indication, it was a lot of people's favorite. I think I especially like how I decided to move out with the pattern, because not only is it moving out, but it's making it like a swirl, which is super fun. I like it a lot. This one gives me a little bit of an underwater feel with the open circles coming out from the center. And I really like this star pattern, and I like how it has an uneven number of points. This mountain goes to this valley, so that means that there is an uneven number. I don't spend a lot of time planning these, so when stuff like that happens, like I could do it on purpose if I thought about it ahead of time, but I don't. I do these at work during my lunch hour, so sometimes I have an idea in my mind before I start, but most of the time I'm just like deciding as I go. In this case, I just decided to not draw some of the lines that I normally would, that would have filled in these areas. And here I drew the lines differently. Like usually I do symmetry like I did here, but here like I only have one coming down here, and then I have a point here that doesn't connect to anything else. So it's just a different feel. Here I played with spacing. So on this one, each of my grid lines was 10 degrees apart. On this one it was 15, and this one it was 20. So then as like everything just gets spaced out further. I like closer elements. This one literally the same, except that I filled in different portions. So this almost looks like a coloring page, like someone's gonna do whatever they want with it. And this one is where they've already done what they wanted to do with it. But it was really fun to just experiment with patterns, and having the smaller mandalas actually helped me to have a lot more energy to do other artwork, which was really, really good. Interestingly, the other artwork I'm doing is still just other mandalas. I will sit down at my art desk to do other things, and the thing that I want to do is draw these patterns. So I just let myself, because no one's paying me to do this. On these, I started experimenting with leaving some white space and just seeing what that effect would be like. This is one of my favorites, and I actually love how it coincides. Like when it was being displayed, these two were on top of each other. So it's like the negative space and the positive space were next to each other. So that was a lot of fun. And also with this one, I drew, so it just looks, to me it looks like sprinkles have been scattered, but what it is like the lines were coming up here, and I drew random diagonal lines between the grid lines that were coming up. Now these ones are similar. Again, I had one that was 10 degrees and then one that was either 15 or 20 degrees, probably 15, maybe 20. Anyway, and I just did basically the same pattern. The only real difference is that I did teardrops here and circles here. This project, this 365 card or daily art piece project, has been a really cool time to experiment and see what I like and develop new patterns. Just so much fun. This one, again, spacing. The only difference is that this one's 10, 15, and 20. I prefer this one. I just really love the closer spaced elements. My compass is actually made so that you can insert any writing utensil you want. So I experimented with using some of my fine liners, and that's why I have these really thin to thicker lines. It felt a little bit like cheating, but then I realized like I can use whatever tool I want to make art. So I've been using my pens in my compass a lot more lately because it's so much easier to draw a circle that way. All right, what we've got here again is, it's not spacing, like everything is spaced the same, except that I drew more lines on this side than I did on this side. I just filled in more. So this one has the center line and then 3 off each side. And this one has the center line and only 2 off each side. It makes a significant difference. The only other real difference is that on this one I did circles on the inside and dots on the outside, and then I reversed it here. But even just removing those 2 extra lines from each of these triangles makes a big difference in the appearance of the design. I got crazy with this one. I drew like, I think 10 or 12 different sections. So each little line was a different section here. And I just had fun fitting what I would normally put into a very large mandala design into a very, very small mandala design. I like this one a lot. Makes me think of mountains and earth and cool things like that. And here you can see where I experimented a little bit with using my pen in the compass. So I'm getting these great circles, but I also lifted it up as I went around. So it kind of makes it look like there's motion and spinning, which I think is awesome. This was using, I was using a Micron 005 that was starting to run out of ink. So the lines are very faint and I didn't have to try too hard to make sure I didn't get them thicker. Playing with spacing again, we've got 15 or 10 and we've got 20. Literally exactly the same designs here. Just 10 degrees and 15 or 20 degrees. I think 15. I prefer this one. Let me know if you like closer or further apart designs. One other thing I did with this one, apart from the spacing that you can see, was that I made the crosshatch just perpendicular here, but slanted off to the side. And then this one I did a diamond pattern in the crosshatching instead of perpendicular. I like these 3. I like the dots around the edges. Yeah, fun. Fun, fun. Here, I did something, it was kind of the inside out to outside in, but I did these 2 rows to these 2 rows, and then these 2 rows to these 2 rows. So it was almost like I took this and went and put it here, and then the same here. Put it there. Don't you love my sound effects? They're the best sound effects. Almost done. I was having a really busy day at work when I did this. Not a particular fan. It's fine. It got it done. I think it looks cool. I don't think it's my best work, but whatever. And then this one I love. I saw a friend on Instagram had done a mandala that was inspired by some of my work, but she had added these little things that I think were inspired by Zentangle. And she did them more straight, but I decided I wanted them to be like little caps almost. And they make me think of the Who's down in Whoville from Dr. Seuss. And I love them. I love it. But I had a lot of fun with this pattern. I used my compass in the middle here and different size pens to make these circles that fade in and out. Got some argyle pattern going on here, lots of dots, really thin lines. My pen ran out of ink and I don't have the pen that makes those super tiny lines anymore. So I'm gonna have to work on that, find something that will fit the bill. But anyway, that is all my mandalas for March. Nice big stack of art. I'm so excited. It is April 11th. I'm on my 101st card. It was so cool to get to 100 yesterday. And now that I'm at 100, like I can't imagine stopping. So I'm super excited for what the rest of the year holds. And I can't wait to show you a tutorial from April's designs. And I'm going to try my hardest to be a lot more consistent about putting up videos. I was doing really well for a long time. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about anything I did, let me know. If you want to see my art every day, check me out at Instagram at Kajelio, as you can see on the screen. And I guess that's it. Hope you have a great day. Bye.